supported this bailout. How does John McCain then now turn this around in the time left?
It's a plan. He's got to do what David was saying. He's got to have a plan. And now this opens up some space in the campaign.
This is where
this
is where the substance matters, and this is where there's a crisis in the Republican Party of ideas.
Well,
that there are no ideas in the Republican Party on the economy except tax cuts.
We'll see.
Tax cuts is what the Republican Party is about now. They're popular, but not that popular.
Which, by the way, is not a bad idea, though, to have when and it's certainly dialed well tonight. And by the way, both sides tested these debates tonight, Democrats and Republicans, and certainly Paul might know what the Democrat testing looked like, but I can tell you from inside that some of the Republican testing was pretty good for Sarah Palin, precisely because they were talking about stimulating the economy. Stimulating the economy by putting money in my pocket is a good thing for working Americans.
I'll tell you tonight, when you look, if you want to picture those dials, that one group that was not being stimulated by Sarah Palin, women. They were very flat in terms of her. What I'm looking over the next 72 hours are how did women respond to this debate, and how they can look at Obama and McCain.
Let's do that right now. Let's go back to our focus group, Wolf, which Soledad has.
Anderson, Soledad O'Brien has been reporting from Columbus, Ohio, on the campus of Ohio State University. You got 32 undecided voters, some of whom we saw earlier, Soledad. They've made up their minds, but I want to hear more of what they thought about what happened tonight.
Yeah, they were roughly, Wolf, divided into independents, Democrats, and registered Republicans. But they all said that they were persuadable. So even though they might be leaning one way or the other, they came into the door thinking that they might be able to change their minds. And one of the things we wanted to see was what really resonated with men and women, and how do they differ in some ways? How are they the same? Take a look at how, and watch the squiggles when Joe Biden talks about a timeline for troops, and then watch when Sarah Palin follows.
Barack Obama and I agree fully and completely on one thing. You've got to have a timeline to draw down the troops and shift responsibility to the Iraqis. We're spending $10 billion a month, while the Iraqis have an $80 billion surplus. Barack says it's time for them to spend their own money, have the 400,000 military we've trained for them begin to take their own responsibility, and gradually over 6 months, 16 months withdraw. John McCain, this is a fundamental difference between us. We will end this war. For John McCain, there is no end in sight to end this war.
Your plan is a white flag of surrender in Iraq, and that is not what our troops need to hear today, that's for sure, and it's not what our nation needs to be able to count on. You guys oppose the surge works. Barack Obama still can't admit the surge works. We'll know when we're finished in Iraq. Predator lenders who tried to talk.
Interesting to see. If you watch those squiggles, the yellow line was the women. Women always higher than men. We noticed that throughout the entire debate. But on those two things you saw for Joe Biden, as soon as he started talking about timeline and troops, numbers way up. When she's talked about a white flag, and any kind of criticism always rates lowly with the dial testers. However, where Governor Palin did get high marks, we saw in energy and domestic policy, she talked about that, the dials would go back up. I want to quickly check in with our folks who we started the evening with, Karina Cox and Phil Wegmeyer. Karina, let's start with you. You told us what you wanted to hear. How do you feel about the debate?
I feel good about the debate, and I feel that Sarah Palin did satisfy my mind somewhat on the energy crisis. I think that she would be better on solving our energy crisis than what Biden or Obama would be.
Interesting to hear from a registered Democrat. Let's go to our registered Republican. What did you think of this debate?
I thought she hung in there. Again, most everything was for Joe Biden. He was in, I guess, the favorite going into the debate, and she hung in there. I felt Biden probably won the debate when you look at just facts and dealing with foreign affairs and trying to address, what are we going to do and how are we going to do it versus kind of more general ideas.
We still have lots of undecided, Wolf. I'm going to come right up here to the top there. Give me your name and tell me why you're more undecided than ever. We only have about 15 seconds.
Okay, I'm Valerie Gibbs, and I'm more undecided than ever because I came in sort of slightly toward John McCain, though I'd get respect for Obama. And Sarah Palin, for me, was not as substantial on the issue. She could have helped John McCain a lot more than she did. And his strengths are foreign policy, and I don't think she was as strong as she could have. So now I'm really more undecided than ever.
So our undecided panel, Some of them have made, a number actually, probably about a third have decided and will not be joining us again because they've now made their decision after the vice presidential debate. Wolf?
We love hearing from so-called real people out there, as well as our panel here at the CNN Election Center. So I want to thank them all for us for